I have always believed in God. Bought childhood Bible stories hook, line, and sinker. It was these stories that carried me through the rough patches, and there were many rough patches. By age 12, I could recite all the books of the Bible, Old Testament and New. And while other kids were wasting time learning to believe in themselves, I was swallowing these books whole in anticipation of having to purge scripture on my classmates. In junior high, a couple of scriptures served me particularly well. The first was, I will restore to you the years which the locusts have eaten. This seemed pretty cool because, let's face it, everybody knows junior high is a breeding ground for locusts. Now, in the interest of full Christian disclosure, I actually spent a significant portion of my junior high days hanging with the popular kids. Turns out, the two friends I made back at Narrowsview Elementary would achieve junior high superstar status. Matter of fact, the older we got, the higher their popularity index rose. Enter the principles of trickle-down popularity, whereby if one or more members of the in crowd likes you, you are granted conditional popularity status, a status which allowed me to hang out with kids who normally wouldn't hang out with me. Of course, one of the problems with the principles of trickle-down popular status is that not everybody gets the memo. So, junior high also introduced me to the likes of Jason Davis, Steve Flood, Janine Schmidtke, and Chris Foss, all who found enjoyment in calling me names like fag, ugly, sissy, tits, lips, and the occasional butt pirate. This is when my second scripture served me well. Vengeance is thine alone, saith the Lord. I shall repay. I've often envisioned God sending legions of angels to smite the student body of George R. Curtis Junior High. One time, God even told me if I marched around the school 7 times, he'd make the walls come tumbling down, just like he did at Jericho. Luckily for my classmates, George R. Curtis Junior High was more like a small campus than a single building. And God's revelation came on a rainy day, which was also the same day I was featuring my brand new Nordstrom's penny loafers. And thus the student body was saved. Oh, God. True story. Them lucky bitches out there. I tell you. It was in 10th grade biology that God revealed to me that I was a prophet. Seems dissecting frogs was no longer enough. Now some fellow classmates wanted to dissect me, going so far as to prepare and tape an auction notice to the blackboard for sale to the highest bidder, Chad's rare Nigerian lips. With auction notice in hand, I bolt for places unknown. And again, God speaks to me, this time saying, rejoice and be glad, for your reward is in heaven, just like the persecuted prophets who were before you. It was these stories and scriptures which not only sustained me, but gave me a hope for a better tomorrow. A hope nearly extinguished the day I found myself surrounded by pillars of new scriptures, each one more contradictory than the next. On the first pillar, I find that man shall not lie with man as he lieth with women, for it is an abomination. Yet it is the second pillar which instructs me to search the scriptures, test all things, hold fast to that which is good. And like Jonathan's love for David, I too want my love to be seen as good. The third pillar shows a God destroying the city of Sodom for its sexual wickedness, while at the same time turning an innocent woman into a pillar of salt simply for looking back. And yet, on the fourth and final pillar, it is revealed that Sodom's sin was not sexual wickedness, but that it had pride, excess food, and was arrogant, and did not help and encourage the poor. I still believe in God. Still buy childhood Bible stories, hook, line, and sinker. These stories continue to carry me through the rough patches. And yes, on occasion, I still find myself surrounded by pillars of contradictory scriptures. And it's at these times when I can be found praying for one thing and one thing only. That what the angels draw near and whisper, "Prepare your ark, for we shall leave port shortly." That my return will be to the God of my childhood Bible studies, my sixth grade God.